with you.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Alex, for joining us. Good morning, everybody. I'm Jeff Whipple. I'm a digital learning lead for Anglophone West School District and part of the LEARNEast Planning Committee. And we're really excited to have Alex Kolga joining us from Smart Technologies. Smart has been integral to a lot of what our teachers do in our classrooms every day. We have smart boards in every classroom, and teachers have been using Smart Notebook. What's really exciting, if you didn't hear the news last year, the whole province, New Brunswick Ed, became and licensed the new Smart Notebook technology. So the Smart Notebook, the very latest versions, all the online tools, all the synchronous learning tools, and it is a rockin' platform that I know that from grades K to 12, there's lots of cool stuff in here. So Matthew, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to join us this morning, and we will sit, listen, and marvel about smart technologies. So thanks, bud.
It's an absolute pleasure. And Jeff, I'm going to ask that we put people through the paces a little more than that. Everything at Smart is interactive. It's all about making sure that the kids are engaged. So what we're going to do today is we're going to show you a way to do that easily, simply, and with the workflows that teachers already use. Before I dive in too deep, I'm just going to introduce myself quickly to everyone on the call. As Jeff mentioned, my name is Alec Kolga. I'm a education consultant with Smart. I came to Smart 3 years ago after being in the classroom for 10 years. And like a lot of you, Smart Notebook was the cornerstone of my classroom. I used it all the time. I would create my lessons at home, and then I'd be bringing them into the class. But what I noticed was I'd spend, an hour and a half sometimes creating these amazing lessons. We all know, sometimes longer. And maybe we'd only get 30 minutes to an hour teaching time out of it, real action for learning time. So what I'm going to show you today is how we can do all of that and more, and we're going to save time. If that sounds good, let's dive in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you here, and you saw the agenda up right as we got started. And I'm actually going to drop out a full screen, and I'm just going to jump into Notebook here. Okay, so this is where this is a starting point. We're all familiar with this. So Smart Notebook is still here. You still have access to it, of course. The math tools, interactivity up here at the top, all of those basic tools that you remember. I want you to underline this. They haven't gone anywhere. You still got them. Now, the agenda for our webinar today is we're just going to touch on context real quick. What is Smart Learning Suite? I'm going to show you how it helps the kids. This teacher here was supposed to be a fist pump. It looks like she's screaming. But how do you use it? So hopefully we got some fist pumps behind the end of your camera there. And we're going to build in lots of time for Q&A throughout this entire webinar. So use the chat. I'm actually going to open up spaces for you to use our platform to get feedback directly to me. Lots of interactivity through this whole through the whole session here. All right, let's rock and roll. So remember, I'm in Smart Notebook right now. This is my, my desktop application, pardon me. So I'm on my desktop right now in Smart Notebook. Now, we have this term, Smart Learning Suite. So what does that mean? Well, Smart Learning Suite, it's actually the combination of our two software offerings, and everybody on this call has access to both. So we got Notebook, now running version 21, fully compatible with Mac and PC. And we have Lumio by Smart. Lumio is our online platform. And what it allows teachers to do is take content anywhere they are and deliver it to any device. We're going to take the best features of the desktop software and we're going to fire them in right here. So we have ultimate access for everything we need for lesson delivery, assessments. I'm going to make you work together. I'm going to separate you. You're going to work as individuals. And then we're going to play some games because who doesn't love that on a Monday morning? So That all being said, let's set the scene here. Smart Learning Suite, as I mentioned, is Lumio and Smart Notebook, so online and desktop. We are integrated with Google Drive, integrated with Microsoft Teams. So that means that you can simply use Lumio in any of these cloud-based platforms. What I'm also going to show you how to do today is how a teacher can take those PowerPoints or the Google Docs, PDFs, regardless of the file type that their lessons are in right now. What we're going to do is we are going to upload them to Lumio, and like magic, it will be deliverable directly to students' devices, whether they're at home, in class, working individually, or as a whole group. What we're going to do is take static content, that the sit and get content, and we're going to turn it interactive. And we're going to do this all where teachers already are. They could be in class or at home. As long as they got a network connection, we are good to go. We're going to build in games, assessments, workspaces, and you're going to see how I can turn every page into a whiteboard for modeling. And while I've said a lot, I promise you we're going to keep it simple. My challenge for you today is this: take one or two things, because there's a ton you can do, but take one or two things and be successful with that. And there's tons of opportunity for training along the way. All right, let's get out of desktop here. We're familiar with this. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump online. So I could do a little vote. Do you want to see it from Google or do you want to see it from Microsoft Teams? But the first step I want to show you is that we can very simply go up here to Account and have your teachers sign in with their email address. And what that does is it creates an ID for them, so that when I come on over here, and by the way, it's set up for single sign-on. So you're going to come on over here to File and Share. Now, once I share this out, it's in the cloud. I can share this with my my colleagues. It's going to be available for me to access from a smart board, or I can go ahead and I can just jump into one of my either Google Drive or Microsoft Teams, and I can access it from there. So here's what I'd like you to do, and I'm going to go nice and slow through here, just because I want to make sure we're all on the same page. But I'd like you please to go to hellosmart.com, and you're going to put in my class code, which is 26296. I'm going to show you what that looks like here. So I'm going to go split screen. All righty. So I've got a window open up here on my right-hand side. This is going to be me as a student, and this is what you're going to do as well. And if anyone would like to do what I just did, and you're on Windows, just grab that window, throw it over to the side. It'll auto snap to the half of your page here. We're going to go to www.hellosmart.com. And this is where students go to log in. So nothing is needed on their devices to log in. It's all web-based. Now you'll see here it says sign in, and you'll see it here it says join as a guest. Signing in has different privileges so that students can keep working on their assignments after I'm done my class. Now, if you would like to do this, feel free, but it is faster if you just join as a guest, which essentially says I'm coming into your class, but I'm not going to be able to use this work for homework. Remember, my class ID is 26296. And if I could grab some help from one of the facilitators in the group, if you could please put that class code in the chat, just so somebody, anyone who's joining late has the ability to join our class as well. 26296. Pop in your name, and away we go. Alrighty. You should see this prompt. It says, greetings, and then your name. Just waiting for your teacher to start the lesson. So remember, I took this notebook lesson and I clicked File and I clicked Share. Now, I'm going to stay full screen here just for a moment, and I'll show more detail about this after we go through the student side. But let's just take a look. Lumio is available for me as a teacher through Google Drive and through Microsoft Teams. So I can add this app. Here I am in my Teams window. And I can add this Lumio by Smart app just by searching the apps library here. And you'll notice this interface here, this landing page is going to look the same no matter where it is you come in from. So if I jump over here into Google Drive, I can do a few things. I can take this existing file by right-clicking, opening with Lumio by Smart, or I can come on all the way over to here and go to New, More, and just start from scratch. Once I do that, it'll automatically bring me over, and it will allow me to either pick a file or start editing. So here's that file that I had. This is the notebook file. It'll look pretty familiar to you. There's our agenda. There's our overview of what we're doing. And I'm going to hit Finish Editing and start. Now, on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to be able to see how many students have signed in. So thank you to the 11 people that are in. Welcome, Bonnie and Carmen and Christy and Cindy and Jennifer, Karen, Tiffany, and Corey and Wendy and Winnie. Now, what I'm going to do here is just give you a quick tour of what's in it for the students. So here's what we're doing. We're on this part right here. You know what it is. How does it help my kids? That's where we are. Now, in just me doing this, you've noticed that I've just turned any page into an interactive whiteboard. So I'll go split screen here. Remember, this dark frame here on the right-hand side, that's me as a student. And on the left-hand side, this is me as a teacher. So when I go to the next page, you're going to come right along with me. I can do that description again, but remember what we're doing, oh, pardon me, get my eraser out here. What we're doing is we're taking Lumio and we're using it to take what was once static content and put it directly to the students' devices. Now, when I go to the next page, you come right along with me. But as with anything, I can take this pacing and I can move it over to student paced as well. So it says now you can go to any page you want in this lesson and you say, okay, got it. And then you can use your tabs and scroll wherever you want. Go ahead. You can run away from me if you want, and you can come play some games. You'll see here that we're going to do some math in just a second. One of my favorites here, if anyone's familiar with the sorting activities, this is our super sort or a match 'em up. Lots of different templates that you can use. So what I'd like you to know is the games that we have. They all have different backgrounds. They're applicable to different ranges of, grade ranges, and they're just tons of fun, right? So here I'm a knight fighting my dragon. If I get my answer right, he blocks it. If I get my answer wrong, he burns my friend the knight. It's fun for the kids. Now, top left-hand side, you'll see here that I've got 12 students connected. This is me as a teacher again. I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to fire back here to teacher mode, and you're going to be brought back right to the same page with me. So everything you know and like about Smart so far is here. We can take existing content and we can build in some games. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, do you have any questions to this point? Normally, we would use the chat, but I'm going to come down here to this Add tab, and I'm going to click Shout It Out activity. Shout it out is exactly what it sounds like. It's you asking your kids to, hey, call it out. So my first question to you is, do you have any questions for me? What's top of your mind right now? So are there any questions? Are there any ideas? Anything you'd like me to clarify? And of course, you can come on off mute, but I just want to show you that you have a built-in way to connect with your students. And what I'm going to do actually as well is I'm going to come over here to settings because, of course, we can play with the settings of all of the activities, and I can turn off display names. So now everyone has anonymity in this space. Of course, I can turn it back on to see who did what, but we have a democratized space here. Everyone can pop their questions in. So no questions so far. Perfect. Questions, that's me. Okay, here we go. How do I access the pen to write on the slide or screen? Now, that's a great question. And the answer is, it depends on what kind of device you're joining from. If you're joining from a laptop and you're full screen, you'll just see it on the left-hand side of your page. If you're joining from a phone, say, the best way to do this with your phone or with with your iPad or any tablet really is to go landscape, so you have the most screen area. So definitely go landscape, and it'll appear as 3 dots, and then you'll be able to click the dots, and the pen will be under that. I promise you, I'm going to demonstrate that in just a second so you can see. Do you have to set up an account before using Smart Suite? The first time you sign in, yes, it's going to ask you to set up an account. Now, because there is a whole license that covers everybody, allow us to make sure that that it's set up for you. You don't have to worry too much as an end user about registering it. We will take care of that for you. But for right now, just go ahead and get signed in with your email address that you use at the district. Alrighty, so questions in, let's move on. Now here's one of the first activities we have. I like this. It's called a response. I can use it for either formative or summative assessments, but I've changed it about a bit. I just want to check in. This has been a difficult, to say the least, a difficult 18 months here. So it's just important that I know how's everyone feeling today. I am only on cup of coffee number 1.5, so I'm here. I'm B. I'm going to need at least 2 lifeblood of teachers here. Question number 2, come on over. And sorry, I've put this riddle in wrong. So the question number 2, ready? What word is the same, even if it's back to front or flipped upside down? Back to front or upside down? Just a little riddle to get our day started. And I'll give you a hint if anyone sees it. There we go. So you can pop it. Nice, perfect. So I can see my word wall building here. I saw the people who are watching, and then very last, you can put in images. You can ask questions that have defined answers, so you can use it like multiple choice here. So there we go. Pop in the right answer, and then you can submit everything. Now, of course, you can tailor this however you want. As a teacher, I can see how many questions have been answered. So I can see about 60% of my class has gotten through all of the questions. I can see my word cloud. I can see how people are feeling today and how is that? Yep. So we're all in the same boat. We're all feeling pretty good. And now I'm going to actually end the activity. And here's a real fun one as well. Down at the very bottom, for teachers, I can export these results to an Excel file. So if I was running this as an assessment, I don't have to go through ticking and flipping everything. I can just click export results, and it gives me the readout of how everyone did, what questions they answered, which ones they didn't, and exactly what the answers were. But perhaps more importantly, as a student, and pardon me, here's those responses. Lovely. Now on the right-hand side here, as a student, what you're going to notice is you get real-time feedback. And this is a reoccurring theme here with SMART. Everything that we do is going to have feedback for the kids built in. So this is way number 1. We can connect with them, give them feedback. It's called a response activity. It's fully customizable. You can change it, multiple choice, true, false, multiple answer, short answer questions, the word wall that you saw, lots of options. Let's head to the next page. So I've shown you a few things so far. We've just scratched the surface. And what I want you to do now is I want you to, we're going to put you into a whole group activity. So we're going to put all 12 of us into a whole class. And I want you to move this logo. I want you to tell me how excited you are about this. Are you very excited? Are you not at all excited? Are you somewhere in the middle? You tell me. So I'm going to go ahead, click on my classroom management tab. I'm going to go full screen for this so you can see it. So classroom management tab with my 2 students here and the number connected. I'm going to slide on over here to collaborative workspace. And now I have the option. So I could break us up into groups, up to as many of 9 teams of 6, or I can put everyone on one team. And I will say that this is awesome for like whole school stuff because there is no limit. We had 300 teachers in a space the other week. So everyone on one team. And away we go. Now I'm the teacher. I'm looking at this whole class workspace. Go ahead, move. This is an infinite cloner down here. You can move this. Are you not at all? I'll be the grumpy Gus of the group. I'll go all the way over here. There we are. Lovely. So we're excited. We're somewhere in the middle. I like it. I like it a lot. So fantastic. And this is just a quick way that we can, that we can turn something static into a whole class space. I will tell you, this is just an infinite cloner. That's all I have on this item right here. So remember your notebook features, they will still translate up here into the cloud. Now, group work done. Glad we got our lights turned on here. Now, the dreaded multiplication worksheet. I'm going to hand this out to you, and here's where I promised I'd show you where all the inking tools are. When I hand this out to you, you're going to have options down the side here. Different, so you'll be able to ink, of course. You'll be able to do inline text, and you'll also be able to add images or even web, live web links, that sort of thing. Let's hand it out to you. Here we go. Classroom management tab, top left-hand side. Slide down, individual handout. Now this is my teacher's view. I can see that one student has gone. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Tiffany, for starting. Thank you, Wendy, for starting your lesson. There we are. And we're rolling. So when a student hits start, it automatically creates their workspace. Now here's where that sign-in feature, I'm just going to explain it real quick. If you're signed in as a guest, of course, you're not going to have the ability to go back into your workspace. But if a student signs in with an email address, then it creates an ID for them so that they can come back in and work on this space after lesson. The question, where is my inking and all those fun stuff? Left-hand side here, give those 3 dots a click. I can move content. I can ink. So if you wanted to write, or if you had a touchscreen device that works fantastic with your iPads, tablets, even your iPhones, or if you're on the dark side and you use Android, that's okay, no judgment here. But you can use the devices you got already. As long as you have a network connection, you're good to go. So I can erase on the left-hand side here. The mountain tab here, or the picture tab with the picture of a mountain on it. I can upload images from my device. So it'll just tie to my hard drive there. I can put in a live URL. So you can be doing outside research, bring it back in. And then I can do, some Bing Safe certified searches. Everything you're going to see is education space, and you can pop those images in, resize, reorient, reshape. Now I'm going to jump into someone's workspace at random. Carmen, I'm going to go into your space here, and you are flying. So remember, this here is Carmen's workspace, and I'm in there as a teacher, so I can see what she's doing live. So excellent job. She's flying along the bottom row. Maybe I want to give her a little bit of real-time encouragement. I want to say, yep, this is fantastic. You're doing great. You're working well. So Carmen, and only Carmen, can see that feedback. Now what I'm going to do is I'll leave Carmen's space, and I'll go check on Christy. How's Christy doing? Excellent job. She's off to a good start here. So I'll mark it in a different color just so you can see the difference. And only that, only my feedback is going into her space. So I could do the same for Karen here. And I could say, hey, great work so far. So I got my inline text. I've got my, I can mark. And then this is something that we're seeing a lot of now. So let's go see. Oh, wait a minute. I saw Wendy was done. So Wendy hit the done button at the top right-hand side. She submitted her work to her teacher. Thank you for doing that, Wendy. Let's go ahead and get a great work sticker here and fire it on. Excellent work. So team, I started off by saying what we're going to do is we're going to connect you with your kids, and we're going to do it simply. Here's a way that you can be providing personalized feedback, or you can be training your teachers to provide personalized feedback in this space. Nice and simple. So we have, since our last Q&A there, we've covered off interactivity, turning spaces into both individual, group, and whole class workspaces. I'm going to pause again. I'm going to fire in a shout it out. And you go ahead, team. I'll pause here for let's call it 1 minute. I'll pause here for 1 minute. You go ahead and put in your questions if you have any, and don't be afraid as well. You can come on off mute. All friends here. Feel free, ask your questions. And if there's anything in the chat as well, MB team. No questions? Okay, here, let's do this. Here we go. We could also do this. What did you do this weekend? Doesn't always have to be. We can have a conversation right here. I'll separate this as well. There we go. Question number 1. Where is all the student work saved? Where is the student feedback found? Can students make corrections? Yes, absolutely, they can make corrections. So let's go first. Where is all the student work saved? It's saved in the lesson that you are creating. So everything that that I'm doing right now is going to be saved under this lesson. And I'm going to address, how do you make multiple copies? How do you teach the same lesson to multiple classes if that's the case? I'm going to cover that off in our sharing portion of this webinar. The student feedback is individual to their spaces. So if I was to go back into if I was to go back into the lessons that you, or excuse me, the workspaces that you just did, I would still be able to go into your workspace, all of the individual students. And I'm happy to show you that. So what you would do is just go back to the workspace so you can see how there's different logos over top. So this one tells me it's a handout. This one here tells me it's a workspace. This one tells me it's a shout it out. And then what I can do is I can jump back in here and I can just click on the student's name to go see how they're getting on. It saves as an individual space. I'll jump right back to that after I answer these questions just so you can see what it looks like. So love this. I'm very, very happy. I hope everyone's enjoying it. Climbed trees and celebrated 40th birthday. I love that. There we go. Okay, so does this connect right to assignments in Teams? Great question. The answer is no. Again, it's going to save as a file. So everything that gets done at this point is saved back into the Smart Learning Suite file. It is not integrated with assignments in Teams. But what you can do is hand out this entire lesson to the students. And in the sharing portion, I'll show you how you do that. So, and perhaps I understood this question wrong. So the individual assignment, you can't pull that out of your main lesson, but you can take the whole lesson with the assignment included, and you can push it out through assignments and Teams, yes. We integrate with any learning management system, and you'll see here, I have the ability to share the whole lesson, either with a link, or I can pull it straight from Google Drive, or I can push it straight to assignments and Teams. Jen, why can't I see the question? Yeah, this is a big one for me as well, Jen. You hit the nail on the head. In the shout it out space, you cannot see the question here. All you have is your response. We are working to make sure that you can see the question right above the shout it out. That is definitely a feature request that we get a lot, and it's going to be actioned for us. On that note, Jen, I'd just like to show to everybody the reason that this is powerful, the reason that it works is because it's designed with feedback from you. So if you ever have a feature that you're like, oh, hey, it would be better if Smart did this, or my teachers are asking for this, come on up here to these hamburger tabs and scroll on down to request a feature. Everything that Smart does is informed by feedback from educators. Click request a feature. It'll take you over here to this user voice page, and you can see all the hot ideas. So these are all ideas that are already on the books. You can vote on them to prioritize them, and then our team will actually respond to you and tell you when you can expect to see it. So we are cutting out the boundaries. You have direct influence over what gets put into this platform because you're on the front lines. You know best what you need. So again, hamburger tab. That's just, funny word for the 3 lines here. 3 lines across, hamburger tab. Click it, request a feature, and it'll take you straight out there. So that would be one. Request a feature. Put the question on top of the Lumio entrance for the students. Okay, team, thank you for these. Now, of course, there are games. So you have the ability to go ahead, click start on that game, just a game show. And I'm going to show you where we have these different templates. There are 15 of them, I believe, that we can use to customize. So we go ahead, there's the match them up as well. Go ahead and get started with that. But this is by far and away our most popular. This one here is called the Monster Quiz. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start it for the class. What this is essentially, think of a Kahoot, but at the same time, what would you do? What would you want to make sure that your students were learning? You'd give them real-time feedback. You'd give them lots of opportunities to get the right answer. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to break you up into teams here. 12 students playing. Let's go with 3 different teams. Here we go. 4 even teams with each. But Tiffany and Bonnie, they just don't work well together. I know that. So Carmen and Bonnie, I know they work really well. Winnie works great with Christy, and Jen and Karen, they get along like a house on fire. So I can reorganize my teams. They're going to come in randomized, and you don't have to explain anything to the kids, or you can sort them. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start the quiz. On the right-hand side, you're going to see the questions pop up, and away we go. Heat Scorcher's off to a good start. There you go, Lava Slingers. Got the first one there. If you got the volume on your device, you'll hear there's a little music with it. Neck and neck, Blizzard Blasters and Heat Scorchers here. I should say this is a quiz of the 1980s. Now the Heat Scorchers, we had a bit of an advantage. I did make the quiz, but excellent job to everybody here. Now we can leave this wide open, or I can go ahead and I can end the quiz here. Let's give 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2. There we go. Got the last ones in. I love it. Excellent job, everybody. So it's just, it's fun. It's a little competitive. You don't have to have the time limits in there. I just put them in to move us along. You can leave it as wide open as you want, or you can make it as competitive as you want. However your class works best, or however your teacher's class works best, I should say. Few things. Did you notice? When you got a question wrong, it brought you back through that list again. It just removed the wrong answer and allowed you to get a second try at it, or third, or a fourth. I just clicked review now, and as a teacher on the left-hand side, I can see how many questions my teams got right on the first try. So I'm going to use this to inform where I'm going to be spending a little bit more time, whether it's with the groups or whether it's on questions directly. So here's how my teams performed, but now I can break it down question by question. All right, 50% of our class knew that Reese's Pieces was ET's favorite question on the right try. I can probably leave that one alone. We don't need to watch Back to the Future again, because everyone knows that the flux capacitor only works at 88 miles an hour, Marty. we can leave Ghostbusters alone, but you see what I'm getting at. We have a quick check-in so that I can provide better actions for learning. Students, go ahead, give it a scroll down. You can see how many tries it took you, and you can see where it is that you're going to need to focus your effort. Righty. So team, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dive out of the lesson. I'm going to bring us all the way back up to our agenda here. We've gone over now. We've gone over how it helps the kids. And now we're going to move on to how do I use it? So how do I build? And I've already alluded to a little bit of that. So here we go. I have a lesson, and you can drop out of your student screen now, and you can bring my shared screen. You can bring that back so it's nice and large for you, just like this. Yep, that's good. So I can see a lot of people diving out, closing the window, signing out of the lesson. You don't have to. You can if you want. Alrighty. So I'm in my lesson space. Click my hamburger tab, and I have a few options. Number one, if I want to share this out, whether it's to Teams, whether it's to Google Classroom, whether it's to some other learning management system, all I need to do is click share, and I can grab my student's link. So if I copy that, I can post it anywhere. I mean, I can email it out to my students and parents if I want, and they're going to have access to the lesson. If the student was signed in, they're going to have the ability to keep completing their work at home. If they weren't, they're going to see all of the content. They will see all of the inking and all of the work that we did. They will see the games, right? So they'll still be able to play these games on their own. Lots of interactivity there for the students still. So that's my hamburger tab and share. And that gives me these options. Now I can also share it over with a teacher, and this gives them a copy of my lesson. So it's the master copy. They have editing privileges. They can move stuff around, add games, change the content, but it's not going to affect your original copy, but I can share it out with them. So let's go to end this lesson, and you'll see I'm here on my Lumio home screen. Now, two ways to get here again. I'm just going to cover that off. So here's me in Google Drive. I can right-click, open with any file, Lumio by Smart. Now, if that's not there for you right now, it's important that you have your administrator add Smart Learning Suite, or excuse me, Lumio by Smart from Google Marketplace. But don't worry, all of the steps and follow-up for that will be coming. So again, on the administration side, no need to worry. Now, once you upload that page, it's going to ask you, what pages do you want to bring into this platform? So you can remove these ones. I don't need the instructions. Order of operations, I definitely need, and we'll pop that over. Now, it's bringing this file type over, and now I can do lots of different things with it. This is great, but it's a little static. Maybe I wanted to bring some more interactivity over. Click my blue add button. And what you'll notice is I can actually smash file types together. So I can pull over, something I already have. I can pull over a Google slide. I can pull over another PDF, a PowerPoint. It doesn't matter. I can smash files together and create something new. So you could have a great lesson in a PDF that you use for your worksheet, smash them together, hand it out in one file. If I wanted to add some ad-free YouTube videos, I can do that too. So these are all education safe. We'll go ahead, search for a YouTube video here. Perfect. Add that in. Okay, so my video's in right at the top. Maybe I want to make that first, right? So I can grab it. I can take it right to the top, and then the students can watch that first. I'll click on my blue add button again. At the top right-hand side, I can't see you, but throw your hands up if you remember Smart Exchange, if you use Smart Exchange. There's thousands of lessons that you can use already. Remember, you don't need to recreate anything. It's all there already. So you could search here in Smart Exchange for some Bedmas lessons, and it'll take you straight out to where you can review these and add content. Or remember, you can still go to Smart Exchange and you can browse all pre-made content here. So you search for your resources, you say what grade you want, what subject you want it to focus on, and then away you go. You can search, you can browse. Heck, you can even define what resource type you want, whether it's an activity or a lesson, whether you just want templates. Sky's the limit here. Now, so far we've been saying, take a file and build on it. Then we just said, well, go to Smart Exchange. You don't have to build at all. Here are templates for building. There are 12 customizable game-based templates. Brand new one as well, word search. Have a look at that. It's pretty awesome. But all of the ones that that we've taken a view and many more are here as well. So remember, you can build from scratch if you want to. And the templates here, I'll go to the hardest one to build. Monster quizzes is pretty tough to build here. I'm going to pick multiple choice or true or false, put my question in, and that's it. So I'm a game designer, just like that. Righty team. So we're going to come over here to response as well. So remember, this is what I used to check in with you when I asked you how you were doing. I can ask short answer, poll opinions, multiple choice, true, false. So these are all in here as well. Great for formative and summative assessment. And I can launch shouted outs as well. I can make them into different categories. I saw a teacher, a great example of this. She did shapes, so she did her spheres and her cubes, and then sent the kids out into the yard to take pictures, and then they all ran back in, and they put their images into the right categories, and they sorted them all out. So I can raise my maximum contributions per student. I can hide student names. I can have them come in random or in categories. You can build it however you want. It's great fun. Now, you might be thinking, Alec, this is all great, but I don't want to have my students, or excuse me, I don't want to have my teachers having to learn how to build from scratch. If you forget everything I just told you, that's okay. Tell them to come straight down here. Ready-made resources. Here, we have 21 graphic organizers. You can add these in anytime you want. They are brainstorming webs, Freyer model, scientific method, lots here. This is all the stuff that we scroll Pinterest for and Googling templates and PDFs for everything. Guys, it is all built in here. It is a one-stop shop. Easy to train on, and you all have it already. On the left-hand side here, the green box, you'll see it says manipulatives. So we can dive in here, and everything that goes into these, they're just notebook files, team. Let's use the calendar, for example. The calendar, I'll just fire that in. These are all images with infinite cloners. So if I was going to ask my students to help plan what it looks like when we return. There we go. I'll fire that right up here so I can edit this space still. I'll lock that down. And you'll notice I can duplicate, copy, paste, infinite cloner. So we have lots of options there. So I'll lock that down so my students, I infinite cloned it, sorry team. So my students can't move it. If I did want to lock it, there it goes. But down here at the bottom, I have the ability to work with all my stuff. And remember, I'm going to hand these out the same way I did before to you. Top right-hand side, if I wanted to say, all right, this is going to be a student workspace, I can click on my magic wand here and presto, it's a handout. Now, let's go one step further because it's great, but it still means I'm going to have to give the instructions. Come on back up here, top right-hand side, you'll see the little head with the voice here. Give it a click. Welcome back, team. In this activity, you're going to be helping me build a calendar for September. I want you to use the icons to show me what we're doing on each day. Now, when I add that in, students can click on this at any point and they can repeat the instruction. Saves us time, right? I'm going to go ahead down here again, click on that blue tab, and I'm going to point you over here to activating prior knowledge and questioning and reflection. These are activities that are either lights on. So if I want to put this at the top of my lesson, or after I've introduced a topic, I can. So I love an entrance ticket. I do love a draw what you know, gets them hands-on. So I'm going to put a draw what you know right at the top, right after my my YouTube video of Bedmas. And then I'm going to make sure that all my students understand where we are at. This is my favorite. Don't get me wrong, there are amazing ones in here, but I'll point you to my favorite. How do you feel? I used to do this all the time. Thumbs up, thumbs down, to the side. How do we feel with this? That's what this is. It's a quick check-in, and I have a record of it. So I've just put in a thumbs up, thumbs down to the side. You can change the question. How do you feel? You can edit any of this here. Now, when I'm done, I hit finish editing. But before I do, I don't want anyone to be thinking, this is great, but what if I go back in a few days and I've forgotten what each of these are? If you see these little scholar caps at the very top right-hand side of all of these boxes, give them a click, and all of them have a YouTube video that tells you what they are and how they can be used. Every one of them. So it's built-in professional development team. No need to recreate all the templates. No need to recreate all the instructions. Just say, click on the scholar cap. It is there for you. You can even go one step further. Here's all of the game-based templates. There's 12 of them. So this will give me an overview of the games. Fantastic. Click on it, and it's going to give me, how would I use a monster quiz? How do you build it? What's the outcomes that you can expect? All of this is built in if you click on those scholar caps with these short videos. So I have taken something from scratch. I have built in all of this interactivity to it. And now I'm going to go ahead and finish editing. You'll see that it adds for me. I can start the lesson. Away we go. So for my 4 students still connected here, and it's okay, you don't have to rejoin. You can if you'd like. But what you'll notice is students did not have to change anything. If you stayed in my class, you're seeing my new lesson. So just like that, I'm able to, pivot. I can change things up for my students, all without having them change where they are. So that's the real win here, team, is that for students, everything is going to occur in the same space. You do not need to go to different tabs to play a game, to get other information. It's all going to be built right into one spot. And then for the teachers, what's in it for us is, well, I just put everything in one spot. I'm able to get my lesson done quickly. All of the tools I need to connect with my students are all here in one place. So if you're real interested in that YouTube video as well, I'll go back here. You can go ahead and hit play. You'll notice that nothing I'm doing as a student or a teacher affects what you're seeing on your screen. But I am going to pause here. So we're just about at time. I'm going to provide us a quick summary here. What we did was we started with content that we already have, whether it's here in Google Drive or whether it's here in Microsoft Teams. The workflow is exactly the same if you're in Teams. If teachers don't use either of those, that's okay too. You can go to loom.io, and it'll bring you straight here. And don't worry, I'll pop all of these links in the chat so you have the basic information for your teachers. There's 3 different ways to get there. So through Google Drive, loom.io, or if you're leveraging Microsoft Teams, you can use that as well. Once we're here, you can start with content you already have by clicking on Add Activities. You can come on over here and explore resources that are already created for you. And I will just say here, these collections are lifesavers. How do you manage a digital classroom, or how do you manage a blended classroom? Social emotional health, really, really important topic right now. Where are my lessons for emotional literacy? I need some manipulatives, and I need to a little bit of focus on distance learning. These collections are all curated for your teachers. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Come on down here, hot topics. So hot topics in STEAM. Well, all of these lessons are created. They're here already. You don't need to recreate the wheel. Really, really important. And last, but probably not least, is on the right-hand side, training. If you give this a click, it's going to bring you to a page that introduces everything that I have scaffolded one by one, so that teachers can eat this bite-sized, right? So how do I get started? Here's a YouTube video. If you learn better by reading and taking notes, those knowledge-based articles are here as well as the teaching practice. Where does this fit into my classroom? Here's how you enhance, engage, deliver, and share out all of your content. Please don't forget as well, we have lots of webinars that are ongoing. There's training always on. We're here to support. We're here to listen and say, hey, this is what needs to be built in. And if you're having conversations with your teachers and they say, oh, sorry, what is Lumio again? You can just go ahead and click on watch the video or fire this out. And this will give you a quick review of everything that I've just gone through in detail. It'll give you a nice overview of it. So, team, it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm going to hang on here, of course. If you want to jump back into our space, please do. I'm going to, pardon me, I am going to open up a shouted out activity, or you can use the chat, or feel free to come on off mute. But thank you very much for taking the time to take a look at Smart Lumio by Smart and Smart Learning Suite. Any questions? Please do let me know. Jeff, anything from you? We're a little early here.
Oh, thanks, Alec. There's a couple of questions in the chat.
Awesome.
Yeah, so one of them, and just one note to teachers. So you notice that, Alec, you referred a lot to pulling stuff out of Google Drive. Mm-hmm. Just a reminder to our teachers that we are Microsoft Office 365 platform.
Apologies, Jeff.
It's all good because they really are. It's just a cloud-based storage system, and you can pull it out of Office 365 on your OneDrive just as easy as you can pull it out of Google Drive.
Yeah. So. Here, let me demo. That's my apologies to everybody. Sorry, team. What I'll do is I'll just show you that straight from Teams so that there's no misunderstanding here. Let's get rid of Google. Awful stuff. Okay, so here we are on the left-hand side. Everything stays the exact same. So I'm going to go to Add Activities, and you'll notice this is all of the same. So import the resource either from local storage or from your library. Alrighty, so everything stays the same here. You can sort by date, by name. You can change the layout here as well, and you can search by lesson up here. So my apologies for that, Jeff. Righty, and I think that there was some questions that were coming in there. Sorry, so Jeff, I'm not seeing the chat. Are there any questions there?
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, I can see the chat. So one of the questions from Tiffany Buckler, she asked, can you insert pictures into the question creation?
Yes, yeah, absolutely you can. So on the questions that you're, when you go into that template, you'll see a little icon. Just give it a click, and it'll allow you to pull from your storage. So yes, the answer is yes. You won't be able to put them into every one, but if the icon is there, if the little picture icon is there, then yes, absolutely you can.
Winnie asked, is there any time delay if they're doing synchronous within class and at home?
A awesome question. This is designed for low bandwidth requirements. So it is not uncommon to have students joining from a parent's phone with a bar, just a little bit of signal. So there will be some delay if there's a network connection issue, but the quick fix for that is just tell the student to refresh the screen, and it brings it right back. And because of those low bandwidth requirements, it sorts it out very, very quickly.
Okay, another question from Carmen. Is there a way to translate text on the slides?
It's an awesome question. What language are we looking to go to?
Probably English to French or French to English.
So I work with my colleague. His name is Pierre-Alexandre Germain. I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with him on the call, but he works with all of our French boards across Canada. So he does definitely have a solution for it. What I'm going to ask is that on the follow-up here, that be called out in the follow-up email, if that's okay. But yes, there is an answer for it. I unfortunately don't have it to hand.
Aha, that's okay as long as PA is great. We love working. He's helped us a lot too with a lot of our French immersion and on the French side of our board. So and that's all the questions.
Alrighty.
So, Alec, listen, thanks so much for taking some time out of your day today and sharing with us of your time and expertise. We really enjoyed. Smart is. We're so much further ahead now with the new subscription. We were still operating back in, I don't know what it was, like 2013 when the last free set was out there. And so it's really it's a game changer for teachers and students. And especially as we get more and more technology into our schools, it's the possibilities are great. So.
Absolutely, and we're here to support, and we're here to help everyone grow together. So please, we want your feedback. That user feedback icon that I showed you, again, it's the hamburger tab, request a feature. Please, please, please use it. Tell us what you need so that we can make sure that we're a step ahead of the game for everybody, not just in the province, but everybody using Smart. We're all in this together. Also, on the follow-up to this, you're going to have contacts for both Pierre and myself. Again, we're your point of contact. We're here to help. So please do use us as resources. Whatever you need, we can point you in the right direction. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time. Very exciting school year coming up. I hope everyone's excited. And if there's anything we can do to help, don't hesitate.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. And a reminder, everybody, that it's now lunchtime. So go grab yourself some lunch. 1 o'clock, come on back because we're going to do the unveil of the new digital responsibility toolkit for the district, and you're going to see some really cool stuff. Our team has been working hard on that. And then sessions start again at 1:30, and we got a couple more sessions this afternoon. Lots of great prizes. Make sure you fill out the link to the session checkout and put your name in for the draw for the prizes at the end of the day. Thanks again, Alec. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.